My dad was really quiet about his history to us. We didn't know he played hockey. He would store his all his trophies he had. He would make us store them in the root cellar by the potatoes and onions, and we didn't. There wasn't a trophy in our house, so to us it was just this, And I don't like saying it like this, but it was like this bitter old man. Your old dad was a bitter old guy, and he was a gruff, and he was hard on you, and he would cut us, all of my brothers. We would be the first kids cut off teams, and if there was equipment for the community, he wouldn't give us any equipment. Then we were sitting there and we're, oh, like we're, man, I don't like you. Like it was honestly like that. Our relationship was really strained with all of us, and then when the book started coming out, I thought, okay, I'll be able to talk to him a bit. I'll break down a bit too and not be so defensive.
When you're reading or hearing about some of these stories, which you may not have known of growing up, and especially like the residential school and all of that, and what your dad went through, was it hard to hear some of these stories, even if it wasn't immediately, maybe you heard them before, but what was it like for you to kind of, uh,
Oh, it was horrible. Him and my uncle, and we took our uncles as fathers. My uncle Frank, his older brother, my uncle Peter, my uncle Leo, my auntie Clara, and you get an understanding why people are the way they are, and you have to. And it sometimes it's a lifelong process to understand people. It really does. My dad, he was 86 when he left, 87, and going to be 87. But it's a lifelong process to understand. And residential school, the story, he protected us from that story. He didn't want us to be angry. He wanted us to have good relations with everyone, every color, to be essentially colorblind to skin color, not to look at it. So that's the way we're raised. And he in his mind, he probably thought that we would be angry. Also, he wanted just to get it away from him,
mhm.
and it affected him so much. But you can't run forever. You know how it goes. You can't run forever. But I know, just from the residential school part, him and my uncle, I would watch them argue, and the alcohol was uh, prevalent in our life, in my father's life, and in those years it was tough years on my mother. My mother's soap, she never drank in her life, and so it was tough years, and you live through that. But when you read the passages, you just instantly, like when I finished reading the 300 pages, I forgive him. You're angry as a kid, you don't get your way, but I after reading Call Me Indian, like, I forgive him. Like, that's the piece I get left with. So I could understand some of his mindset to protect us from that story, which is fine. But I want to know, because residential school affects me. It really does, and you can tell in the book, when you're angry, when, as a person trying to really, um, not have an angry life, it comes out, and it affects your kids, your relationship. And to me, that's what a lot of the book is for me. And I hope every school kid reads it, every university student, every theory class around relations uses it. I really do. I think it's a really practical guide to how we should be with each other.